Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you out there? Good morning. I hope you guys are having a great week so far, even though it's only Tuesday. But you know what? It is Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. Had a only did two shows so far in the past 2 weekends, back to back, and this is the middle of this one leg of the journey. There's still 11 shows for us to do this year. That's really cool. I love it. We're not doing the 40 that we used to do, which I know I talk about all the time, but I really wanted to get back out there. I'm doing some different things, different events I'm going to be doing, which I've never thought that there would be an artist at. But I'm very honored that they made me a guest at one of them. But let me just say, the past 2 weekends have been great. Before I get on to like where I'm going to be going, the past 2 weekends have been great. Last weekend, not this past, but the weekend before, it was a 1 day show. It was a C2CS or TS MonsterCon. Fun show, little slow, but I'm not blaming them. Unfortunately, right across the street, there was a huge non-sports card convention going on. It's like the San Diego, from what I understand, it's like the San Diego of non-sport cards. So parking was kind of a nightmare, but again, like I said, I don't blame the promoters and the creators. It's not their fault. It just so happened that I don't know. They just didn't see it, and they book, well in advance. All the conventions do. They book well in advance. But anyway, still a really cool show. We sold out of a couple of pieces at that show, and it was just so fun just to see new people interested in Stanley, Natasha, and the gang. So it was really cool. So thank you guys, C2TS MonsterCon. So thank you guys very much. I had a great time out there. Now, this past weekend was the St. Louis Comic Con. Now, I haven't done this show in about 6 years, since 2017, maybe 2018. I can't remember. So 5 to 6 years still, it's a long time. And it was so cool to see friends I haven't seen in a very long time. It was great. What really made this show, I think, stand out is it was really well put together. It really, you can talk to 50 different people and you're probably going to get 50 different answers, maybe 30 different answers. But the show was small enough. You can definitely walk through it in a day. There was plenty of people to see, plenty of vendors, plenty of artists, an artist alley. This, I think, was one of the first times, if I remember correctly, one of the first times that MightyCon actually had an artist alley. And it was carpeted, by the way. And I know some of the vendors were kind of mad, fake mad, not real mad, but they were like, "Man, how much more did you spend to get carpeting?" It was kind of funny, but anyway, it was just so nice. And where they had the actual celebrities was in the back in Artist Alley, but in the back of Artist Alley, and of course all the vendors in the front by the door. Well, that kind of makes sense. So when you come in, you see all the vendors, you see all the pops, you see all that stuff, the merchandise. Then you go to the artists, you see all the artists, and then you go all the way to the back, and then there's the celebrities. Duh! How perfect is that? I mean, it really did. It was a really good layout. I would love to see this layout at the majority of their shows. Some of the halls that these guys are in, that MightyCon is in, they're kind of wide. They're they're very big, so it might be kind of difficult to do the same thing, but they can still kind of do the same type. Maybe just change it up a little bit. But it was such a well put together show, in my opinion. I thought there was enough coverage, like media coverage. I thought there was enough promotion. So good job, guys. Great job. But what I really enjoyed is that it was in a new location. And anytime, any show, it doesn't matter if you've been there, if you've been around for 50 years or 5 years. If you move to a new location, it's almost like having a brand new show. And that may not make a lot of sense, but it really does. Because when you move, even if it's just down the street, you can be hitting a whole new crowd of people who have never gone to a show, who maybe for some reason just can't make it to the show down the street, whatever the case, maybe work, parking, who knows. But now it's like it's literally in people's backyards and more people came out. I heard so many people tell me and just all around me and all the different artists, like, well, this is our first show that we're coming to. This is the first show. I'm like, wow, this is cool. And okay, why is that cool? Well, kind of needless to say, it's like you've got somebody new now coming to the conventions. You have a new fan. It doesn't matter if they're, for movies and the TV series and whatnot. You know, when you go to conventions, you don't just only have to like comic books. You can like the movies and everything. It's a little bit of everything now. But it was so cool just to see all these new fans walking around, a lot of them picking up books. That was something that's really good at this show too, at the MightyCon shows. They really do believe in comic books and putting comics back into conventions. And also, from what I understand, San Diego did the same thing this year because none of the big studios were there. But I'm not going to get into all that because that's a whole different conversation, which I had with somebody over the weekend. It was a nice conversation, but it was so nice to be back there. I can't wait to go back next year. So the next show that I'm doing, which is coming up this weekend, just a few days away, is right here, the Chicago Fan Expo show. Now, this was formerly Wizard World Chicago, which we all know. Kind of lost its love after a few years. And then before that, it was Chicago Comic-Con. Not sure who the people who owned it were, but the Chicago Comic-Con. And this show I have been doing for 31 years. When I said that for the first time over the weekend, and I thought about it last week, like, oh my God, I'm getting old. And I'm really not, but still, it just 31 years going to the same show. My God, that's crazy talk. Now that I haven't been setting up for 31 years. No, 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 no. I first started going there as a fan, and I kind of, within my comic, I guess, growing upness, I started at that show. And I just kind of, moved up. I went on to this show, then I went to this show, then I went to that show. So the Chicago or Wizard World Chicago actually got me out there to start doing conventions. And it was and that was in 2007. Excuse me, guys. That was 2007, and I've been doing it ever since. And I absolutely, oops, I have some comments, guys. Sorry. Hey, what's going on? Do you use watercolors? That's something that I actually want to get into is doing some watercolors actually, because I think like just doing the backgrounds, like for the animations, I'm going to start using some watercolor. But I'll get into that in a little bit as well, a little bit later in another video. Anyway, but yeah, so anyway, Wizard World Chicago in 2007 was my first time actually being at a convention, behind the table, and I've been there ever since. So yeah, it has been one heck of a journey going to all these shows, but it's been so fun and just extremely awesome to meet so many people from all walks of life, from everywhere, my gosh, everywhere. One big thing that I'm definitely bringing that people thought I kind of skimped out on a little bit, with starting my animation studio, was sketch colorings. Now, sketch colorings are pretty much exactly what they sound like. So you can bring me up any kind of a sketch, like a black and white. It could be penciled, but I prefer if it was inked because because I use markers, the markers actually just wash out all of the pencil lines. So you can bring up any black and white comic book cover to me. It could be a sketch that an artist did, or it can be just a black and white that they print, like a variant cover or something like that. You can bring that up to me, and starting at only $5, I'm going to color that up for you. I started sketch coloring 15 years ago, and I am continuously doing sketch colorings even today. But celebrating my 15-year anniversary, I'm actually doing all sketch colorings this year on comic book covers at only $5. That was my original price 15 years ago, and I'm bringing it back this year. I don't care how many black and whites you might have. I don't care how many sketches you have. You can bring a whole box over to me if you want, lay it on the table and say, I want these colored. And you know what? If anybody is out there willing to test me to that, bring it. Because I guarantee you, I am going to be able to get all those colored. Okay, maybe not over the weekend, but I could probably get a good chunk of that all done, but I can get it done. There have been shows where I have done, well, actually, there have been months where I have done over 600 commissions, sometimes even over 1,100. I'm talking anything from cards to comic book covers to prints to action figures, believe it or not. Uh, almost anything black and white, I can color up as long as the marker sticks to it. Then it's pretty cool. And believe me, people have tested me on that one too over the years. So at Chicago, at Fan Expo Chicago, if you have any black and white covers, variant covers, maybe a sketch that an artist did physically on a comic book, and you want to get a little color added to it, bring it on by my booth. I'm going to be at P7 and P8. It's the pro section and artist that kind of surrounds Artist Alley. Bring it by. I am more than happy to color it up. Now, there are a lot of covers out there, unfortunately, that are very, very, very glossy. Markers won't stick to that. Doesn't matter what marker you use. The markers won't stick to that. But there is something that I can do that I figured out many years ago of how to kind of keep the markers on that glossy stock. So if you're not sure, like, I'm not sure if I can bring this, I don't know if he'll color it. You know what? Bring it in. And I'm very honest with you guys. If I can't color it or I think it's going to look bad after I color it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give you something that's just half-assed and just looks yucky. No, I'm going to give you something that's going to look badass. I want something that when you go home, you say, wow, this guy did this and it looks really cool. And it's more personal to you. You can tell me what colors you want on that piece. You can tell me whatever you want with that piece. If you want me to color up a specific item or character or whatever, or color it up a certain way, let me know. I am all about doing it. It doesn't matter. It is still $5 for me to color those up. So that goes on all throughout the rest of the year, from now through December. So I hope to see you guys. If any of you guys are out there who are going to be going to Fan Expo Chicago this weekend, definitely look me up. P7 and 8. That's going to be in the Artist Alley section, in the pro section. I hope you guys come out and check everything out. Not only am I going to be doing sketch colorings, I have got a ton of new art tunes to show you guys and a whole new slew of original hand colorings, all with the studio. So one of the things. So that's Chicago. Now, next weekend, this is where it gets kind of fun. I never in a million years would think that any comic book artist would actually be set up at one of these events. I looked at a few friends of mine who I know, vendors, a few friends of mine, they always said, Jeff, you need to do this all-night flea market. I think you'd do really good. It'd be really good. And for, I think, probably a few years, I'm just kind of like, well, it's a flea market. What can I do? Then I looked on the website and wow, there's some pretty good people that are going to be at this upcoming flea market next weekend. You've got, okay, for instance, like Lou Ferrigno's been to one of them. Excuse me. Hold on one second, guys. Gotta get some coffee. But Lou Ferrigno was a guest at one of them. And coming up this upcoming weekend, Veruca Salt, if you know her, not the band, but the young lady who played Veruca Salt in the original Willy Wonka or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and also Mike TV. Now, they're not the only ones who are going to be there. There's other people who are going to be there today. So there's celebrities and comic book people, like Jeffrey Moy is going to be there. I cannot remember this guy's name. He goes to a lot of shows I'm at. But anyways, there's a lot going on there. So I'm going to try it out this next week. Yeah. So I'm trying that out. But they guested me for their haunted flea market. Now I'm going to get into all of this a little bit later in another video, but I'm actually doing 3 different flea markets this year. That's kind of cool. I'm really excited about this. But with those flea markets, I'm actually bringing out some different things that I've never had at conventions. So it should hopefully be a really good time. I mean, the haunted flea market, that just sounds really cool by itself. So anyways, guys, I'll get into all that a little bit later on. But this weekend, if you're going to be at the Fan Expo Chicago show, which is August 10th through 13th, I hope to see you guys. I'm going to be in the pro section, which actually surrounds Artist Alley. Which this year, if you guys went last year, you know what? They put out a map, and the map looks really good. It really does. Everything looks a lot more organized. We all got to keep in mind from last year, it was the second year, I think, that they were doing it on their own, actually taking over Wizard World. So there's going to be some kinks, there's going to be some hiccups here and there, but you know what? I think they really stepped up their game with this layout and this show because they got some really good people coming to this show, both celebrity and artists. You know, there's a lot of good people coming. So, anyway, no, I don't work for them. No, I don't get anything uh, for saying they're a good show. I don't get any of that, but it's a me, it's a feeling. It's just a feeling that I always get at most conventions. Just a happy, fun feeling. So, anyways, guys, I hope to see you at Fan Expo Chicago this weekend, August 10th through 13th. Don't forget also to bring in your black and white sketch covers so I can do $5 sketch colorings. I'll be doing that all weekend and all throughout the rest of the year. So, guys, take it easy. Have an awesome, awesome day. I'm going to go into a lot more detail with the flea markets coming up within the next little bit. So, hey, what's up, David? I'll be seeing you this weekend, sir, and I'm going to have a couple things for you too. So take care, guys. Thank you so much, and I will be looking forward to seeing you. All right, bye, guys.